Hi everyone! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. So we have another incredible guest hopping on. She was one of my first few guests, but we're kind of redoing this. Sorry, Doug is in the background with Pepper, his adorable little cow that he has. So he might be running around, so while my friend is talking, we are gonna put me on mute so I can throw this around for Doug. But yeah, I'm gonna invite her on, and I'm super, super excited for this. So let's get her to pop on here. All right, Kaya Marie writes. Worked. Accept. I love doing Instagram lives, but they take forever to get people
Hello.
on. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. We've just finished looking at a rental property, and fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm
Nice.
excited. You can't contain the excitement right now, honestly.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You've had a rough few months, so I'm so excited that you
Yeah.
finally found something.
Oh, we managed to get in for 6 viewings tomorrow, so Friday is going to be absolutely hectic. We're going from property to property, but yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Don't let it stop you. If you're self-employed and you are a business owner, you can definitely get whatever rental that you want. Like no matter what people tell you, you can do it.
I know
Well,
I've never had that problem because my fiance bought the house that we live in, but
mm,
I've heard so many horror stories of people who are like self-employed or they work for themselves, and it's like all these loopholes they have to go through to try and get like
yeah.
mortgages or anything like that.
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice for anybody that is self-employed and are looking to do something like buy a house. I've bought a house as someone that's self-employed, and I've also now having to jump into a rental at really short notice. Get your invoicing down to a T. If you have everything in invoices, they can't argue it. So even if they turn around and they're like, "Oh, it might be difficult," and da da da. No, if you've got it on paper, you're good. They can't say no because all they.
So it's you just need like proof of income basically.
Yeah, pretty much proof of where the money's coming from. That's the big thing because I don't know if it's the same in America, but I'm in the UK, and here in the UK, the money laundering laws here are very, very strict. So they are very iffy about random cash deposits, all that kind of thing. So you need to know exactly where everything's coming from and be able to prove it. If you've got that though, they can't argue with you. Like it's
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I've never had to go through that, but I assume at some point in my life I'll probably have to do something like that. But
yeah.
although I'm getting like, is it different because you're married? Like, since I'm getting married, like, you still have to do all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So they just kind of they take everything as like a couple rather than on your own. It makes things a lot easier, like for rentals and stuff, because when I was applying for my like to buy a house as a single, yeah, very difficult. There are hoops that you have to jump through, but the minute they see dual income, they're like, "Ooh,
Okay. Hmm.
yeah, you're getting married really soon. Hey, it's like next year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in September actually.
September. Oh my lord, ah,
I
that's
know,
gonna
I'm
be
so
so weird.
excited.
I'm so excited to see the pictures. I can't wait. I love weddings. I love weddings. I love love. Everything about it.
I know, I
It's
love
perfect.
it too. I love drama.
Oh
That
yeah.
shows. I know. I'm so excited though. It's definitely gonna be it's gonna be way more chill than what I had originally thought because I think we talked about this a little bit back and forth, but like the original wedding was supposed to be 150 people, and then we tried to cut it down to like 75, and I have a massive side of my family and he has very, very little. So I'm like, that wouldn't be fair if like all of my family shows up and then like he has like 10 people. So we're
Yeah.
like, screw it, we're just gonna do 17 people, and him and I are included in that 17-person head count. We're just doing a long weekend, and it's gonna be
We
so.
did exactly the same thing, Liv. Like literally, when I planned my wedding, there was 250 people coming. We had people flying in from England. We had people flying in from America. We had people flying in from everywhere. And I think it was like 3 months before the wedding, I had like a mental breakdown. I was like, nah, I can't handle this. I couldn't handle everyone's back and forth. People being like, oh, I want to sit next to this person. I want to do this. Nah. So we ended up booking just like literally, we went to the marriage registry, my husband and I, we went down there, we booked, and we booked it for originally just us and 2 witnesses. And then we told our parents and they were like, oh, can we come? So we just had like a small wedding with 10 people. And honestly, best wedding I've ever been to. Like I'm definitely biased because it's mine, but best wedding I've ever been to. Like we just, we got married. It was so chill. We signed all the paperwork. We went to a restaurant. We had the best meal, and then my husband and I went to a hotel for 3 nights, and it was just the best. And like we look back on that, and doing it stress free with like little people was the best thing that we ever did. Honestly, like.
Yeah, like that was my biggest thing. I'm like, I want to actually enjoy the day with you instead of just like catering to other people's needs the whole time and like feeling like I gotta run around and say hi to this person, or like making sure there's no drama over here, and like, oh, because like I know that like I probably wouldn't have been in charge of like all of the drama stuff that would have gone down, but like I didn't want to be involved with it. Like I'm too much of an anxious person to like have that like thought in the back of my head. But this is just gonna be so chill. It's gonna be nice. Like I feel bad that some of my family can't go, but like I'd rather go to other people's big weddings than have one of my own.
Yeah, and you can always do Christmas. That's what we did. We just ended up hosting Christmas and having people come for Christmas and doing like a, oh, it was a bit of like you got married like a month ago, we'll have a celebration thing. Way better, way better. Because then it was like we could also kick people out at 9 p.m. once I was over socializing with people. That was the main thing.
True.
I get to a point with people where I'm like, get out of my house.
I know, it's just like your social battery is just like gone. You're like, just leave, please.
I'm like, please, I love you, but not this much.
Like for me, too late.
But yeah, definitely doing it small is the way to go because it's your day. That's the big thing. It is your day with you and your partner, and it's going to be the day that, like, in a year's time, I've just had my first wedding anniversary literally 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
and you look back on that day and you're like, wow, in a year we have grown together so much. And like the start of like this story that is us started with that day. You're not going to look back on it and be like, oh.
I know, so much changes. Like, I can't believe it's almost May. Like, I feel like the wedding is going to come up so quickly, and it's going to be gone in a blink of an eye, which is crazy.
And then you're going to be, like, a year in, and you're going to be like, wow, like, whoa, we've been married for a whole, like, lap around the sun. Like, that's crazy.
I know. Well, I feel like this would be an interesting, like, conversation to have then. So, you started your business when you were dating your husband?
Yeah.
So what was the dynamic like with that? Because I know when we all start out, it's like barely making any money, and like I was lucky enough that I had like my fiance, like where I could like rely off of him for income sometimes. So, like, what was the dynamic between the two of you then?
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting question. My husband has always been my biggest cheerleader. He's always been my biggest support. We've been friends since we were 14. So he knows who I am. He knows everything about me. He knows exactly how I'm going to respond to things because we have 8 years of friendship that we went off. So I started my business as a result of me being so done with the world. Like I was a nurse. It was COVID. Towards the end of COVID, I was so burnt out. I was so like, I think in a period of 3 weeks, I'd been assaulted 3 times whilst on the job. And I was just like, I came to him and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I really need to see this writing thing through. Like, I've just got to go all in. And he was like, okay, how are you going to do that? And I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but we're going to do it. And I had no money. And my first month, I made $30 from my business.
I know, but those first $30, like when you see that come through, you're like, oh my God, I made $30 on live.
Literally, I still remember my first client. It was for a rug company. I wrote blogs for a rug store, guys. It couldn't be any more boring if you even tried. But I was so proud of it. I was like, look at my little blogs with my name on them. Look at how I go. And yeah, I made $30 in that first month. And my husband and I, like, we were dating, and he I was very fortunate in the fact that he did help me out, like, quite a bit in that first month. But the dynamic for us really, like, the big change for us happened was when my business took off. So I really quickly went from making no money to making like $8,000 to $11,000 a month. Like the change happened within less than 8 weeks, and it was
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember when you reached out to me about that, and you're like, Olivia, like I'm scaling so much right now, and like I can't handle all the Fiverr stuff. I don't know what to do. Like that was such a cool moment when that happened.
Yeah. And that got hard because I was working 14 to 16-hour days, like nonstop. Like I would wake up, go on a Fiverr, and I'd have 10 orders due. So I'd be smash, 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 smash. And it really took a massive impact on our relationship. It well and truly did, because I literally just couldn't handle. I was working way too much, and I wasn't putting any energy into my partner at all. And he was the one that kind of was like, Kevie, you're going to end up really just not happy if you keep doing this, because like it's not sustainable at all. So for me, he's been instrumental in me taking a bit more of a step back from my business and not making as much money as I was making before, but actually living a life that is really like, I couldn't ask for a better life. I work 2 hours a day, you know,
Yeah.
if that. My husband works for my business now full time, and I get to have him with me all day, every day. We make a good living wage here in the UK. Like we make decent money for the UK, you know. I couldn't ask for anything more in my life now. Like, yes, I'm not making $10,000 a month like I was before, but I'm working literally an hour and a half a day.
Yeah, and your mental health is probably significantly better than it was before.
Yeah. I'm working 1.5 hour days, and I'm still signing $22,000 contracts. Like, it's not, you know, like taking that step back and like having somebody to be like, nah, like you're doing this for the life that it gives you, not for just for the financial security that it brings.
Yeah.
That was massive for me. That was massive. Like that changed my entire life, well and truly.
Yeah.
So he never really he supported me financially at the beginning, but it's mostly been like emotionally. He has just been there at every corner, and I couldn't ask for anybody more in my life. I couldn't ask for anybody a better partner for that, because he well and truly, whenever I turn and I'm like, I can't do this anymore, he's got an answer. He's like, right, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and I'm like, okay, and it worked.
Yeah, I feel the same way with my fiance. Like he was actually the first person. So backing up, when I first got started in August of 2020 on Fiverr, I heard advice from Alex Fasulo to like have like family members and friends like place like your first few orders from you so that you can like rank up in the algorithm. And he was actually my first order. He paid like $5 for some random like gig for me. And since then, he's been a massive supporter on this journey. And like back in September, I don't know if you've seen like the posts I put out there, but like I had my best month ever, and then my clients just dropped. Like recession fear, they didn't have the budget anymore to move forward in Q4. So that was like really, really tough for my business and for like my mental health. And if I didn't have him, I probably would have just went and got a 9-to-5 job, because I could not like support myself in that moment. And it's so nice having a partner who like supports you through thick and thin with it, because it's hard. It's really hard.
You are gonna have like you see like with Alex Priscilla as well. She's one of my heroes. Like you see people like her who do have it all together right now, and they're smashing it. But the reality is there are rough months, and even when you are like at the pinnacle of success, like I would consider your business to be very up there in terms of success. And I would say my business is quite up there in terms of success as well. Like in the Australian market, I'm one of the only copywriters that pulls clients. Like that just, yeah. Like I literally had an email from Fiverr this week because they want to interview me they're doing some kind of like freelance, like they're doing something for freelance a week, and they reached out to me to interview me for it because I'm their biggest Australian profile that they have in the moment, especially for writing translation. And like, even I have months. Like last month, we literally looked at our bank account and we're like, wow.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big misconception with people who get into the space. They're like, it's constantly going to be this linear upward path of like, I'm going to get more clients and like, I'm going to like increase my rates and everything's going to go great. When in reality, like, there's so many down months that nobody talks about. Like, I've been making a mess. Like, I no longer do done for you services for social media anymore. I do like primarily coaching and like events that I'm putting on. And like the past like 6 months have been my lowest months in business ever because I'm making that shift. And I feel like so many people don't talk about that. Like people shift their businesses constantly. Like you went from making all this money, but you were so burnt out. Like you weren't able to live the life that you were trying to set up for.
Yeah.
So like it's like this give and take constantly of like, you know, it's never going to be 100% perfect, but you got to really prioritize what's important to you.
Exactly. Like, and also what is important for you in that stage of your life. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to change. That's like one of the biggest things that I've had to learn, because I pigeonholed myself into being like, I want to be a super successful entrepreneur who makes like 6 figures every year, who like, you know, people look at and they're like, damn, she makes money. But when I actually lived that life, I was miserable. Like my friends would message me to go out for like, you know, go out for a drink. And it would be like, maybe in the next 6 business weeks, I might be able to get around to it. Like, you know, and that living that life was just not, it wasn't going to happen. But at the start of my business, that mindset really served me. Like that got me to where I am today.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure. That the hustle mindset gets you going, but you can't keep it.
oh no,
It's not sustainable at all.
no. And I feel like as a society, and especially I see it all the time on social media, we get it so wrong in the fact that it's, you need to hustle 24/7. You need to constantly be going to the next, to the next, to the next. But I saw a really, I don't know who said it, but there was a really good quote online from someone that was in the finance space. And he was like, you make your first 100,000 and then you go, I've got to make the next 100,000. But when is it enough? You know,
Yeah.
when do you get to the point where you're like, I've got all of this, you know, but I've got nothing to really show for it. Like my marriage is in tatters. My mental health is in tatters. I am so burnt out that I like looking at my laptop makes me want to cry. You know?
Yeah. No, I get that 100%. Like no amount of money will ever make you feel happy.
No.
It's all about like the opportunities that money can give you. And if you're not using the money to, you know, pay for experiences that you want and pay for the life that you actually want to be living, then there's no point. Like you might as well just either go back to a 9 to 5 job or kind of do what I'm doing right now and just take the L for a few months and restart from scratch and build something that you actually want to be building. Like I was not happy doing done for you services anymore because it just wasn't aligned with what I wanted to be doing. Like I enjoy doing stuff like this. I love getting on calls with people. I love talking. I love sharing knowledge. But I just felt so blocked in doing social media management. And I was like, that is not what I want to be doing 10 years down the road with my business. And I think some people, that's what they want to do. Some people are just totally fine with like pulling back the reins, doing video editing, graphic design, copywriting for people, and just like, you know what? I'm making a little bit amount of money. This is perfect for my lifestyle. Like, I love doing what I'm doing. But you really need to step back and look at like, what is important to you and where do you see yourself in the future? Like, do you see yourself doing this for the next like 5-10 years? If not, then what are you doing? Like, start building something that you want to be living for.
Exactly. And the biggest change for me mentally was getting married and like, you know, joining like my life with somebody else's. And it's like all of a sudden every decision that I make isn't just about me anymore, about us.
Yeah.
And then when you start talking about having children and all of that comes into it, like my biggest motivator in life is what kind of parent do I want to be? You know, like what do I want me and my child to look like? And that's why I took a step back from my business and made the pivot towards something that's more sustainable and less involves me to be at the helm 24/7, because I can't sit here and have a child and then, you know, raise this child with the knowledge that I would literally never be there. I would have never been there. I would have literally woken up in the morning, maybe help my husband get her ready for school, him or her ready for school, drop them at childcare, and then that would have been it. And that's not like a life that I want to live at all. Even though that is the life that we would have had to live if we wanted to keep making the same amount of money we were making before.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm creating this program that I'm creating, because back when I was doing like my higher months, like the months where like I felt really, really good in my business, was I was balancing it out with recurring income. So like affiliate marketing and digital products. And I could take on a certain amount of clients and not feel burnt out with it. And I think that has been key with this type of business with freelancing. So many people get caught up in the client work, and it's like you reach this certain max where you can only take on like 4 or 5 clients at a time without outsourcing work and then losing profit, and then it just turns into this like you're starting to build out this agency model, which is fine. You can totally do that. But if you're the type of person who's like, I want to just have like 3 or 4 clients and then make passive income, like you need to start building out those different revenue streams. And I'm creating a program called the Blow It Up Blueprint, where like over 6 weeks we're going to be talking about this sort of stuff. So it's super, super important where you start not right in the beginning, because if you try and overwhelm yourself with client work and affiliate marketing and digital products and like brand deals and stuff, it's going to be way too much for you. But like slowly building up this sort of stuff in your business, that's going to help make it sustainable long term. Because when you're doing client work, you only have like 3, 6, maybe 12-month long contracts. And then sometimes people re-sign with you, but typically as a freelancer, it's all short-term work. And it's this constant mindset of like, oh, I've had a really great month, I'm on a super high. And then it's like, shit, they're gone. I don't know what to do. I need to like start looking for clients again. And it's this constant hamster wheel you're on. It's so bad for you mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely where I am in my business. Like, I'm starting to build out more passive income streams. I've been a little bit more slow to start it than most people because I experienced stupid level growth from the get-go. Like, my growth was wild and it was unsustainable. And even now, like, my Fiverr is at the best it's ever been at. I think like this week we're getting like 17,000 impressions onto my profile per week. Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, it is ridiculous, but it's just like, and on top of that, I've had obviously my battle with my health. Like, I've had two brain tumors that I've just managed to conquer, and just all of that as well. But I'm now at the point where I've started to build out passive income, and I wish I'd done it sooner. Honestly, it's one of those things where you just wish that you'd done it from the get-go, because it literally takes up such a massive weight, even if it's just like $100 a month. Yeah. When you've got 4 different passive income streams, that's $400 just your rent. Like,
exactly. It adds up really quick. It really does. You should do like if you're making all the success on Fiverr, you should definitely build some like digital products, or like something around like how to grow on Fiverr. Like, I know that a lot of people have done that, but like you have the results to show for it. Like, yeah. You said you're like #1 in Australia. Like, that's massive. Like, so many people who try and be like Fiverr experts like really aren't. Like, you actually are. You've had great success with it. That would be an awesome like digital product that you could sell.
I've got 5 of themselves reaching out to me. It was so random. They reached out to me via messages and broke their own terms of services whilst they were messaging me. And I was like, is this like, are you trying to catch me out? Like,
what's going on here?
So I was like, according to the Fiverr TOS, and then she's like, no, I am Fiverr. Like, it's all.
That's so funny.
It was so funny. I literally, like, my husband was like, are they trying to gaslight? Like, are they trying to catch us out? And I was like, Because they were like, can I get your email? And I was like,
okay, share my email.
Are you sure? Like, I and the response was, no, we are fine.
I love that.
So good.
So you're working on Fiverr right now. Are you working on other platforms, or are you just like doing one-off projects? Like, what does the work look like for you right now?
So I pull clients through LinkedIn, Fiverr, and through my own website as well.
Okay.
So I'm pulling clients through three different areas. For me, the majority of my income is still coming through Fiverr, but the majority of the work that I do on Fiverr is just like one-off, like little gigs. So for me, it's Google Ads. My Google Ads is what's taking off like massively, doing the writing and the optimizing of Google Ads. And then through LinkedIn, that's where I book my big ticket clients. So my multi-5-figure contracts, they all come through LinkedIn. And it's usually like, for me, I have a lot of experience within crypto and finance. So for me, it's a lot of like crypto, finance, and also web development agencies that reach out to me and book me as their kind of like copywriter that does all of their stuff for them.
So I've never had luck with LinkedIn ever. Like, I had been trying to find like people on LinkedIn for like months. I've never had any luck. So what are you doing on LinkedIn that's like getting you leads?
So for me, I post, so I make sure to post once a week. I always post like a little bit of a thought piece So usually I'll combine copywriting with a topic. So one of my ones that did really well recently was a cryptocurrency piece where I talked about how we can use cryptocurrency in marketing. And through that, I got a job offer. Like I had a company reach out and offer me a full-time remote job. So for me, it's a lot of posts, like posting those kind of pieces. And also, like, there's an advertising, copywriting, and social media group that has like 40,000 people in it. I like go in there and I comment like maybe like once a day. And through there, that is where like a lot of people will see that I've commented, press my profile, and I see that a lot of people view my profile from those groups because I have my profile views turned on, so I see where everyone's coming from. And yeah, I think I would say about 70% of the people that check out my LinkedIn profile are checking me out through that group. So I've actually found a lot of like the groups on LinkedIn, like the professional networking groups, really helpful. Really, really helpful.
Interesting. So do people reach out to you directly after they view your profile, or like what does the process look like after that?
So I get people that reach out directly, but I'll also just I often will just connect with them and I'll flick them like a little personal message just being like, hey, I'm a copywriter. I'm in the UK at the moment, but I'm from Australia and I know the market really well. I'd love to connect. And usually they'll accept me. And then because that little like personal note's been attached, they'll actually message me back. And often they'll ask me about what I'm working on and what I'm up to. And I've had people that I've spoken to on LinkedIn for like 5 minutes. And then like a year later, they've reached out and been like, hey, we need to book a copywriter for 6 months and we want to book you. What do we need to do?
Wow.
So it's definitely, I've found quite a lot of success in it, in actually reaching out, like doing the connections, especially focusing on making sure that you're connecting with hiring managers. So hiring managers and also content managers are your two kind of people that are going to be doing a lot of work within the digital marketing space. So those are the kind of people that are going to be in control of like their company's content strategy and their company's social media plans. So they're the kind of people that you want to be talking to, because when they see that you're a copywriter and they're seeing that people are booking you and that you've got portfolio pieces going up every week, they're like, "Ooh, hello."
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought of like LinkedIn groups would be a good spot, but yeah, for anyone listening who is also struggling on LinkedIn, highly recommend looking at LinkedIn groups, I guess.
Yeah, LinkedIn groups and connecting with hiring managers, because they're the kind of people that, like, I have hiring managers that I connected to before I was even a copywriter who have seen that I'm now a copywriter, and they'll just message me every job that they get, like every kind of like job, every kind of contract that comes through, they'll just flick it to me to have a look at. And even just having like those kind of people flicking you through different jobs and things, what I do is when someone flicks me through a job, I just reach out to the company itself as a freelancer. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'll be like, I'm a freelancer. Like, I see that you're hiring for this role. If I was interested in, like, if I wanted to do that, I would put in for the role. But I can also, in the meantime, I've got availability to do it for you until you hire somebody for that role. And like 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, oh, yes, please. That's also a really good way to get like experience with different industries as well. I've noticed is if someone's like hiring for a copywriter, messaging them and being like, oh, I'm a freelance copywriter, I can help you in the interim.
I like that. I like that a lot. Just putting yourself out there is key. I know that definitely like networking and like I get a lot of my clients through a like mastermind program that I'm in, and it was all like referrals and people in that network, and you know, people who I'd been connected with for, like you said, months at a time, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I know you do X, Y, and Z. Can you hire me for this, or can I hire you for this for a project or something? It's like, yeah, sure. So definitely build up your network, even if it's people you would never expect on LinkedIn or online.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, some of the random contracts that I've received. Like, I have received some very random contracts just from people being like connecting with on LinkedIn. And like when I first started getting onto LinkedIn, I had like a goal that I would connect with 10 people per day. So I set out to connect with 10 people per day, and that like literally that doubled my income in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Very
cool.
I'm very much a put yourself out there kind of person. Like, that is my approach with everything marketing. Like, I will, if I see a bad advert when I'm driving, like, I will like take note of the advert, and then I'll email the company when I get home and be like, hey, your advert sucked. You could have done it like this. And then
I love that so much. I think so many people are so afraid to do that, like to just like, and I think you're right. Like that is where the money is going to be, is like when you're looking at ads and you're like, okay, this person has the budget to run ads. They probably have the budget to hire someone to help them with that. So why not reach out? Like, I love that so much. There's so much confidence and power in that. That's insane.
Yeah, we did it recently. We went down to Portsmouth for our anniversary, and we drove past it was like a bus stop advert. And like as you're driving past it, like you couldn't even finish reading it. It was too many words. So I literally just took a picture of it, went home, emailed the company, and I was like, hey, change it to this, change it to save for 35%, go further. And they were like, damn, we love that. I was like, yeah, I'm a copywriter. It's what I do.
I love that so much. That's another like digital product or like some sort of like thing you could create. Is just like building up your confidence to like reach out to brands, or like how to like actually like cold outreach without it sounding like, hi, my name is Olivia and I am a social media manager. I have X, Y, and Z services. You should hire me. Like that is just, that's so good. Like you just randomly saw that and you're like, listen guy, this is what's wrong with this and here's how to fix it. And then not expecting anything in response. And then they're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah. My whole thing was, you've put this advert in an area where the majority of the population are over the age of 65. I have perfectly good eyesight and quite a fast brain. And I couldn't finish reading that. Like I literally read half of it and we drove past and I was like, that sucks. I was like, that's a bad advert. And it really got like, it really bothered us. And then we went home, we were like, your advert, change it to this, please. Like, and then yeah, they messaged back and they were like, oh my gosh, we love it. That's so creative. And I was like, I did just change the words that you've already put on your thing, but that's all good.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
You need to make a TikTok video about that. Like share that story because that's so good.
That's my approach. My approach is literally I'll just drive and I'll be like on bottles as well. We regularly we'll pick up a bottle, we're like, that sucks. Like we'll be like, then you just message the company. They always have the contact info on the back next to like the nutritional info. So you just I just flick the bottle over, grab the email it off. And then yeah, like I would say that gets about 50% of the time they respond.
Wow.
And even if they don't book me for anything, like they know that I'm there. So I will, like, we have had it happen a couple of months down the road. They'll hit us up. They'll be like, hey, we want to do another billboard campaign, but we don't want it to be like last time. What do you think?
I love that so much. That's just amazing. Like I said, just like the confidence that you have to do that and just like have no cares in the world about it. Like if they get back to me, they get back to me. Like so many of us get in our own brains where it's like, oh, what are they going to think about me? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, what's the point in reaching out? And it's like, you're just like, look, this is what's wrong here. Go fix it. And then expecting nothing in return. And I think that's just there's so much power in that, which is awesome.
The worst that could happen is I save them some, like, I help them spend their advertising budget slightly better, It's the worst that could happen. The best that could happen is they could be like, yeah, that advert sucks. Come fix it.
Yeah, they hire you on.
Yeah. So, like, that's, like, they're not going to look at that and be like, wow, this person's smug and cocky, because I've told you exactly why your advert's not working in the first place. Like, I'm not even your target audience. I'm 22 and I can't read that. So I can guarantee you that my nan and granddad, when they drive past, are definitely not able to read that. Like, that's not happening.
Oh, that's so funny. But it's so true, though. It's so true. It's like I see this all the time with like people that post, like businesses that post on social media, where it's like their videos are terrible. Like just it's not even like the quality is bad. The text that they're using is in places where you're not going to be able to see the text on other platforms. Like it's not going to show up on Instagram in certain spots because your name and everything's going to be covering it. And it's like small little changes like that I'm just like, I should reach out to them. No, just keep on scrolling. But I love that you reach out.
Do it. Trust me. Like, even if you just set yourself a goal that, like, in the next week, when you see one video like that and it bothers you, just reach out. Just hit them with a message and just be like, hey, I saw your video. I love the idea and I love where you're going with it. but I think if you did this and this, and give them just like bullet points, it'd be way better. And like, if it's constructive criticism, brands are often willing to hear it. Like, they really are.
Yeah,
Because
they don't want to be missing out on money.
they don't want to miss out on money. And like, if you have seen like their advert and actually reached out to them, there's a reason. Like, they want people to reach out to them, but not for that reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm probably single-handedly both a fiend for quite a few marketing teams. They probably see my emails and they're like,
No, not coming for me.
they're like, the menace, she's back.
She's in my inbox.
It's like, yeah, keep your eyes out, guys. You've got bad copy, I'm coming for you.
Let's be like your tagline. You got bad copy, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I should make a series of adverts that I see and I'm just like, no. Because literally straight away I'm like, nah, change it to that. And then my husband's like, that's good. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to tell them to do that.
You really should though. That'd be such a good social media idea. Like if you're like trying to market yourself on TikTok, just like make a whole series about like bad ads I found in public, and then just like take a picture of it, share the story, and then like share how you fix it. And that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to get more into my like social media marketing because like it obviously, as you know, it's been a plan for so long, but my health just took a massive fell flat on my face, and that really like we had to focus on just doing life because it was like that was what was paying my bills. And yeah, but I'm definitely like now like I've set up all my profile to rock and roll, so I'm definitely gonna do that. I think that would be fun, guys.
That'd be so much fun. That'd be so cool.
I just drive around, I'm like, yeah, no, let's not do that, that is awful.
You could literally just take a day where you like drive around your local town and just like look at ads or billboards and stuff and like take a picture and be like, this is what I found today. This is how we're gonna fix it.
And this is why it doesn't work. If you're targeting somebody that's 70 and is going to have eyesight problems, they're not going to read extra small font that is 3 sentences long. Let's just chuck 3 words. Save 35%. Go. Done. That's it. Perfect. We're ready to rock and roll. Not save 35% on this ticket. You did it. Like, no, nobody cares.
Yeah. I think that's like a big problem I have in my own business too, is like either overcomplicating things in my copy or like not explaining it in the right order. And it's just like, so maybe I might have to reach out to you for some copywriting help.
It's funny how much of a difference it makes. Like when I first got into copywriting, I was skeptical of my own business model, guys. I was just like, surely not. Like, surely people aren't paying for people to do copy. But actually, copy makes such a massive impact. It can change how human you come across. And as a brand, the more human and vulnerable that you come across, the more likely people are going to buy for you. Because we live in the era of capitalism. If you come across as a big business that wants to take my money, I'm not giving it to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's plain and simple. Like, I am often the target audience for the campaigns that I write on. So if I wouldn't buy it, then nobody else my age will.
Yeah. I always find it so much harder to do copywriting for my own business or like any sort of marketing for my own business than for other people's businesses though. It's like I can look at somebody else's account and be like, oh, this is wrong, like you should definitely be fixing this, why do you have that there? And then I look at my own and I'm like, I know that something's wrong here, I just can't figure out what. And it's like this whole other like mindset when you're trying to market yourself rather than like trying to market somebody else.
Yeah, I get into the rabbit hole of being too perfectionist with my own stuff.
Yeah.
I would spend hours on something that really doesn't need hours spent on it. And yeah, I've learned to outsource for my own stuff. I outsource for my own things. Yeah. I do. I've outsourced my own website because I wrote my own website, you know, and it just didn't hit as good. It just really didn't. It had all the right SEO. It had all the right, it had the right idea, wrong execution. Having somebody else that's like not in your business to come and take a step back and look at everything and be like, okay, this is exactly how we're going to communicate what you are to other people. That really helps. Having somebody that does that, life-changing.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I joined like some mentorship groups and stuff like that. And like I like had somebody who could actually look at my stuff from like a bird's eye view, because when you're like in the nitty gritty doing it, you're like trying to over perfect everything 24/7, and you're like, is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? Should I like rephrase it like this? Like, does my Instagram bio actually need X, Y, and Z, or should I replace it with something else? And it's like, oh, I don't know what to put in there. So yeah, definitely have someone come in to give you like outside perspective, and just like give them the basic information of what you need and what you want, and then like they can do it for you. It's so hard to do in your own business.
Especially when you have a character limit, like
Yeah.
Google ads and Instagram bios. You've got like 60 characters to sell yourself, and you're just like, right, copywriter, and that takes up 20 of them, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So highly recommend getting someone to do that sort of stuff for you if you're like, I have no clue what to write or what to post or anything like that. Just hire somebody to help you, at least give you an outside perspective on it. Constructive criticism always helps.
Because yeah, you spend like the upfront money. Like I spent money on your mentoring, for example, and yeah, the upfront cost is it's an upfront cost, but what you actually get from it changes everything. You know what I mean? Like you change the way you think, you change the way that you present yourself, you change the way that you market yourself. All of those things, like they come back to you 10 times the dollar signs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I'd say 90% of the time, it's all stuff that you already know. It's just someone needs to tell you it.
Oh yeah. Somebody
like,
needs to make you a plan.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody needs to like give you the roadmap, because you might have all of the steps inside of your head, and you might be like, I know I need to be posting here. I know I need to like set up my emails, but it's like, what should I actually be doing in order so that it actually moves the needle in your business? Because that is always the biggest problem, is like everyone, most of my clients that I've worked with, like coaching clients, they know what they need to be doing. It's just making it make sense, putting the sequence together.
Yeah, you can have a million trains of thoughts. And as a business owner, you do. You've got 25 million things to think about all day, every day.
Yeah.
Then no wonder that you have amazing ideas, but you can't execute them. I feel like that is like something that a lot of business owners, like even my clients, struggle with. They have great ideas, but the actual execution of the ideas, it just doesn't happen. It just can't happen the way that it should. And that's why.
Time that you want.
Exactly. And that's why outsourcing and finding people that like you rely on, like for example, like I wouldn't go anywhere if I needed a social media. I wouldn't go anywhere else but you. Like,
oh,
you find
it's
people.
true though. It's the same with copywriting. Like I would go to you. Like I know you enough, and I know, like, I've seen your work, that like I would go to you for help.
Exactly. 100%. And that's like, having those people as a business owner is like, that's what you need. Like, you need to surround yourself with people like that, you know?
Yeah. Because, like, I remember when you first came to me, you had all of these incredible ideas, but you were in no, like, stage in your business to execute on all of those. Like, you were talking about affiliate marketing and, like, posting, like, 3 times a day on TikTok and, like, all of this stuff. And I'm like, this is great, but it's like, we really need to focus in on, like, getting you figured out on Fiverr first, because that was your biggest holdup point. And, you know, fast forward, I don't even remember, like, the last time we chatted, maybe 6-9 months ago about this stuff, but like, you know, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'll figure this out, and it'll happen within like a month. But in reality, it takes a lot of time. Like you're still at the point right now where you're not really posting on social media yet, but that's okay, because you figured out the biggest holdup in your business now, and now you can go back to what you originally intended to do, which was market and grow.
Exactly, because like there was like that Fiverr bottleneck took like 6 months to figure out. It was not an overnight fix. When you're getting like that much of your client work through a platform like Fiverr, to try and like pivot off of it, oh my gosh, it took me, like, I had to hire somebody else full time to be able to do that. Like, that's the level of like, oh yeah, my husband works for me full time now.
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he ended up helping you with that whole situation.
Oh yeah, he had to. It was ridiculous. We had more work than we had, like, there was no way that even if I like had an entire village in Africa working for me, there was no way we were going to do all that all. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. You were very, very stressed about that. It was like, oh my god, I'm making all this money, but at the same time, it's like I literally can't handle it because it just happened so fast. And I think so many business owners are like, I want to scale to 10K months overnight, and it's like, yeah, that's awesome. But if it's with like 10, 15 clients, then you're not gonna be able to do it. If you have a high ticket, like two high ticket clients, you could probably do that and it'd be fine. But it's all about like the perspective of like how do you actually want to be scaling? How do you actually want to be growing your business? Because like I said, if it's with two people, you can probably reasonably manage those two people and the services that you're providing them. But if it's with like 10, 15, 20 small mini clients who are only paying you $500, $1,000 a month, like that is not a sustainable business. Like you're
You lose one client and it's like the end of the world. Like,
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I've like my business has now adapted that we have more high ticket clients. Like that's who we serve now. We serve mostly high ticket clients, and then I get like I said, my five is now just for like little like $50 orders that people like put through for like tiny little bits of fixing up this here, fixing up there, which is what really is what Fiverr should be. It should never be the backbone of your business.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell a lot of freelancers like getting started on Fiverr, like that is probably one of the best things you can do is like start your freelancing career there just to get a taste of what it's like because they already
Mm-hmm.
have everything set up for you. Like they have the 3-tier pricing structure, they have the FAQs that you can figure out. It's so easy to get started on Fiverr. But when you're trying to like scale as a freelancer and when you're trying to like really grow and build a business rather than just like $100 here and there, like it's not sustainable because the people who are hiring on Fiverr, like you said, are looking for like five to like maybe $200 orders.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. Nothing higher than that. You can't have sustainable clients on Fiverr unless you have a team working for you in the back end who's like cranking out orders 24/7.
Yeah. And the reality is no one really has that unless they're outsourcing to an agency that lives in a country where they can afford to do that.
Right. Yeah, businesses would rather hire on an agency to do it than a freelancer on Fiverr for bigger stuff like that. So, yeah. But I'm glad you were able to figure all of that out and that you're now in a better position because it's really tough running a business and like especially being this young trying to run a business like
Oh yeah.
it's so hard. I'm so glad we were able to connect because I most of the people that I talk to like in my mentorship groups and stuff like that, they're all like there's nothing wrong with that, but they're all like 50-year-old moms and people that I just don't really relate to. So it's so nice being able to connect with other young entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And vice versa, 100%. Having like you're the first young entrepreneur that I've met, and like what I've noticed with our generation is like a lot of people look at what we're doing and they're like, what are you like, why are you doing that? Like that's wrong, like why are you working for yourself? Why don't you just go and get a 9 to 5 job? Why don't you just do that? Like, and it's just like I wish more people would give this a go. I really, really do.
I agree, especially when you're young, like because you really don't have a lot to lose.
Oh no.
Like if you don't have a family, like if you're especially if you're living on your own, like you really don't have a lot to lose. Worst comes to worst, you get like a part-time job on the side to like supplement those months where you are in an income dip. But like it's so freeing. I can't imagine working a 9 to 5 job now. Like I
Oh
can't
no.
imagine stepping away from this life that I've built for myself where like my dog is just sitting here and I'm talking to you at 11 a.m. on a Thursday for business stuff. Like that's incredible to me. Or like if I wanted to go work at a coffee shop down the street and do whatever, like I could do that too. It's just there's so much freedom in this and it's like I could never go back and get rid of it, you know?
No. Like my daily life is I go and work at castles, man. Like literal medieval castles. I go and like get my laptop out and I go to the cafe there with my husband and we sit there and we work together. I wouldn't change that for the world. Like I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going back to a 9 to 5 job. Like it's literally yeah. Wow. That thought was a little scary, hey. What's
Yeah.
the hard to ugh.
Yeah, it's we're a different breed of people for sure. We definitely are. Like if you have that little spark inside of you that's like you're made for so much more, but you like don't know what it is. Like I highly recommend at least dipping your toes into entrepreneurship, dipping your
Oh, yeah.
toes into freelancing. Like just try it out because it like unlocks this whole thing inside of you that you never knew you had.
If you've got the flame, like there's a fire that burns in some people,
Yeah.
and it is like it is an unstoppable flame. And if you've got that in yourself, you'll know that you've got it in and of yourself, because you won't really gel with what a lot of people say is the right thing to do. Like you won't really gel with that a lot, and you'll want more. You'll be a bit more of a go-getter, like. And if that's the kind of person that you are, you should definitely 1000% give entrepreneurship a go. And even if that's not the kind of person that you are, entrepreneurship is it's for everyone. It really is. Like there is something out there for everybody. It doesn't matter. Like I tell this to people all the time. Like my cousin, for example, he's a bartender and he loves cocktails and he loves making cocktails. So I'm always like, man, you could be something else if you really just put your time into showing people how to make amazing cocktails. Like this is the kind of bloke that you could give him like two different alcohols that are like I've had it in beer and vodka before, and he's made me like the world's nicest cocktail that I literally would pay somebody like $50 for. Like I'm just saying.
That's so funny. But like building off of that, I remember back in 2020 when like everyone was trying to get into like making money online and stuff like that. There was this one guy that I started following who used to be a bartender, and he actually created this thing called cocktail cards. And it was just this like simple idea he had because he had been bartending for like 25 years. And he's like, this is an area that like I am an expert in. Like I know what I'm doing here. Like why not make these like little cheat sheets for people who want to make drinks at home during COVID? And so he did that, and then people saw it. He had a few videos blow up, and he ended up like creating it and like selling it on Amazon and stuff like that. And the business has just taken off, and like now he has a business around bartending and cocktail cards and stuff like that. And he never thought he'd be in that position. So yeah, anything is really possible in this life.
Yeah, it really is. Like even if you're like a hairdresser or a tradesperson, there's always some people out there that don't know a thing about hair or don't know a thing about building houses, and
Yeah.
they will hire people for the knowledge, and they will. And that's what I keep, like I always tell everybody, like I tell my little cousins this all the time. I'm like, whatever you want to be in life, it doesn't matter if you want to be a bartender, it doesn't matter if you want to be a doctor, just do what you love, and you'll find ways to make money around it. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you really will. And that's where I think, like, we don't get taught this in school. You don't get told in school, just go and do what you love and the money will follow. You get told in school, get good grades, go to university, get into like $100,000 worth of student loan debt, and then maybe you'll find something that you like to do on the flip side, and you'll get a good paying job, and then yeah, maybe you'll be happy one day.
Yeah. But that's not really the reality half the time. Like at least in this day and age, it's definitely not. Like people are changing jobs every like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Whereas like when my grandfather was like our age, like he was at the same job for like 40 years. He retired from the company he started working at when he was like 28 or 29, which is crazy. That is not how it works anymore. People are like, look at Google, look at all of these big tech companies that are just like cycling through people 24/7. Like I don't know about you, but I don't want to be constantly stressed about having that security every 2 or 3 years. Like I'd rather be more stressed about building a business like this that I know I can make as much money as I want and retire whenever I want and just set my life up on my own standards rather than having security at a company every few years and then not like working 9 to 5, not having the free time that you want. Like, I don't know. I just don't see the logic in it anymore.
Yeah. And that's, I think there's going to be a massive shift in like how we work as a society. I feel like we saw the start of it in COVID with remote work. And I do seriously think that the way of the future is rather than people aren't going to be working traditional 9 to 5 roles and being like, I'm a hiring manager or I'm a, content strategist. No, everyone's going to be working for multiple different companies and doing exactly what their skill set is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fully believe that in like the next 10, 15 years, that's going to be a major shift that we see in the way that we work. So by jumping on the train before it even rolls and becoming a freelancer and putting yourself out there, you get to be ahead of where we're already heading.
Yeah. Yeah, because like look at how much progress you and I have made in the past 2.5 years of running all of this stuff. And like we're not near the top of like some of the people that are doing this, but like we have so much more experience under our belts than a lot of other people who have no clue about this world. And it's like, you know, both of us were doing, like, at least for me, I was doing it part-time throughout college. Like I had no expectations of taking it full-time, but it gave me the skill set and the knowledge that I need to take it full-time. And it's like even just like doing a little bit here and there is going to set you up to be so much more higher up on the food chain when things do turn fully remote. Like, because I'm willing to bet we're probably going to have another pandemic in our lifetime. There's probably going to be another time where we're going to have to be isolated inside of our houses, as like bad as that is to say. Like, I'm willing to bet there's going to be some sort of circumstance like that. And we're going to be stuck in that thing again, where people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to have to work from home. So why not make it work for you now and like understand how to do it so that you're set up for success later, you know?
Exactly. I fully agree. Fully agree.
Yeah. Well, I had an amazing conversation with you. I'm so glad we were able to do this the second time around, because I know the first time you were not feeling too great. So
yeah, I was really sick.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. And I'm glad that you guys are looking at properties and stuff like that. Definitely keep me updated on when you end up deciding on where you're going to settle.
Yeah, 100% I will. And if you want to do this again, just flick me a message and book me in. I love having a chat with you.
Yeah, I love doing this sort of stuff. I'm trying to get a bunch of people on here. So if you know anyone who would want to do Instagram lives as well, just send them my way and I can hook them up too. But yeah, for anyone who's tuning in from my audience, where can they find you? If they want copywriting help, where can they find you?
All right, so you can find me on LinkedIn at Kia Marie, and also via Instagram at Kia Marie Writes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.